So, as a millennial, whenever there is a new movie out that I want to see, I instinctively check the internet and especially Rotten Tomatoes to look at the reviews. The idea is that you can determine whether or not a movie is good and worth seeing without actually viewing it yourself. At first glance, this might look like a cool idea that saves everyone time and money, but the more and more I think about it, the more it starts to scare me and makes me worry about the future of cinema. When you look at the history of cinema, and films that are now considered to be masterpieces and game changers, that significantly altered the industry forever, these films were not really appreciated in their times, at least not by film critics. Examples of this include Psycho, The Shining, Casablanca, and most notably 2001: A Space Odyssey. All of the major directors that we now glorify, like Scorsese, Kubrick, and Hitchcock, their films were not originally as beloved as they are now. All of these films that I mentioned before led to major shifts in the industry, and they inspired countless other films like them. I've talked before on this channel about how with 2001: A Space Odyssey, the Academy Awards refused to even nominate it for Best Picture because it was a sci-fi movie, and thus not to be taken seriously by critics. Now it's considered one of the greatest films of all time and taught in just about every film school in the country and really the world. Without 2001: Space Odyssey, Star Wars would not have been as popular as it was and taken seriously as a film, because again, it's sci-fi. This was possible because, despite the fact that critics originally panned 2001: Space Odyssey as, just a kiddie film, not a sci-fi film, not for adults, audiences loved it, and they recognized the brilliance of this film. They recognized how great it was, while at the same time these uptight, pretentious, so-called critics did not. And it's because of this, the audience reaction, that 2001 went on to become a classic and inspire so many other franchises like Star Wars. I just don't know if that could happen anymore today, because if a movie gets a bad score on Rotten Tomatoes by critics, that seriously hurts its prospects of performing well and having a large number of people view it. And when it comes to films, people can be really smart. They can notice the creative, cinematic storytelling genius in films often better than critics can at first. They know when something connects with them and has the potential to live on and become a classic. But Rotten Tomatoes is kind of getting in the way of that. Don't get me wrong, I understand that more often than not, critics' scores, they're pretty accurate, but there are two major flaws with them. The first, which I've already talked about, is the inability of many pretentious critics to appreciate filmmakers or films which do things different and push the boundaries in ways we've never seen before. Those films oftentimes incorrectly get labeled bad on Rotten Tomatoes and by these film critics. The second issue is that Hollywood and critics are increasingly becoming suckers for Oscar bait movies that aren't actually good or creative in any way, but just kind of pander. Examples of this include Crash or The Green Book. So Rotten Tomatoes is leading to these uncreative Oscar bait pandering films getting high numbers, while inadvertently shutting down all of the films that are actually new and different and understand how to express these deeper themes, messages, and societal critiques in creative and unique ways that actually connect with audiences. I think when taken with a grain of salt, Rotten Tomatoes is an amazing tool and company, but it is our responsibility for the good of cinema to determine what films we like, and thus what type of films will continue to get funded and made in the future, and not just a handful of critics, which is increasingly what is happening because of Rotten Tomatoes. Well, that's my video, everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please remember, if you like it, leave a like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you.